Hecht Eyes, which I'm told is so named because in the game it had 8 eyes. Please pay no attention to the other, clearly non-important eyes. All of those ones there are like direct callbacks to Final Fantasy 1, where instead of having characters, you picked from a series of classes available at the game. The fighter, the monk, the black mage, the white mage, the red mage, and there's one other I am forgetting, but yeah, we had these sort of core concept characters rather than named characters, which would change as soon as Final Fantasy 2 came out. Phoenix Down, a fantastic card, fantastic reference there, because Phoenix Down can revive anybody, and Final Fantasy games have always been consistent in that if you're fighting like an undead enemy, like a zombie or a spirit or something, healing magic will harm them. Hey, look at that! You got the card. You got the card you had the art card for. I lost track of it here sometime. Yeah. This is the alternate version, but solid card.
Sorcery. I want to play red, I think. If I want to utilize Sephiroth. Wow, what is this? Shadowbringers.
Dovin's Veto.
Dovin's Veto from Final Fantasy, what is that? 5?
It should be in the bottom left as well.
14.
Yeah. Dovin's Veto is a very good counter spell. Multicolored, so it can be tricky sometimes, but yeah, very good.
Samurai's Katana.
It's got that sort of effect because that is an artifact. So they like to, Wizards of the Coast likes to illustrate, they like to condense a lot of information on. So, people come at this part one of two ways. You can look at some of your best rares and think, like, how am I going to make a deck around that, and see if you have the cards to support it. Or you leave that for last, and then you look at the cards you have and see, like, can I build a deck out of this, and then can I jam in one of these guys? Does it pass the vanilla test? If it does, that means you get roughly the same amount of power and toughness for the cost. If this creature were a total of 3 mana for a 3/3, it would pass the vanilla test. Right now, it's 3 for a 4/2, so your mileage may vary. 4 is a good attacker, it kills a lot of things. 2 gets hit by a lot of things as well. Now let's look at some of the abilities. It comes into play, mill 5 cards. That's 5 cards off the top of your library into your graveyard, and get an enchantment card milled this way back into your hand. This is problematic. First, we're going to have to look at our spread of things here, see how many enchantments that we got. 4 mana for a 3/5. Well, it ain't a 4/4, but having a bit more toughness means it's good at blocking, so that's okay. We basically took a 4/4, took 1 away, and added 1, so we're kind of on the level there. And when you don't have an optimized deck, having slightly better blockers is better than having slightly better attackers, I think. Let's see, whenever 1 or more birds you control, and assumed you opened a bunch of birds. Don't know about that one. Landfall, whenever land you control enters, this gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That could be decent. But given that you're probably not doing a lot of multiple land play in a turn, especially in a format like this, you could assume maybe like it's probably going to +1/+0 maybe every other turn. So if that's all you get out of it, not that first ability, I'm not feeling good about this. It's also 3 different kinds of mana, which is super challenging in a format like this. We got a land here. Lands are colors. They could go into any deck. This one's looking pretty good. Hideaway 4. When this enters, look at the top 4 of your library, exile 1, basically, that the card is responsible for, and get rid of the rest. So, as a land, you can tap for mana, this taps for colors, or you can pay 2 and tap, and you can play the card you exiled with its first ability, but only, if you control 4 more legendary characters. This is going to be really rough. This set does have a lot of legendaries, and you have opened them, so like I feel like this is in the maybe pile. Well, this is definitely have to see what we open first.
Yep.
We got Arden here. I mean, the term build around is meant to describe like any process you went through to optimize your deck to get the best out of a specific card.
Okay, yeah.
Some cards are like most people will end up building around their cards naturally to try and optimize things. But you'll hear people describe certain cards as, oh, that's a build around, which means it doesn't have enough value unless you build around it. Whereas there are cards that just go in wherever you find them. Some rares, some commons and uncommons are just that good. Oh man, if I get this card, that goes in any deck. This card, that's a build around. This one, that needs a specific type of creature and 3 kinds of mana and a landfall trigger, that's a build around.
Yeah.
Great when you have optimized for it, but not otherwise. What do we got this? So we got 5 black. We have 8 mana for a 4/4. So this does not pass the vanilla test.
Nope.
Does not pass the vanilla test. So we're looking at the ability to see what else we get out of it. Demons you control have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste. That's 3 big abilities. But this is not a demon. Let's keep reading. Star Scourge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard. That's keyword there. Mine, yours, anybody else's. If you exile a card like this, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's also a 5/5 demon. This seems pretty good. Just exile something from my graveyard or your graveyard, and we're talking, it says anything. It doesn't have to be a creature. Could be an instant, a kill spell you played a couple turns ago. That's good. Could be something out of your opponent's graveyard. Yep. This is fantastic in a build round. Could be good on its own. But remember, in 60 card, especially in a pre-release where it's more luck of the draw, you're dealing with generally kind of faster format. 8 mana is almost prohibitively expensive. Mm-hmm. This is one where this one I'm looking at as playable if I've got my game on lockdown. I'm safe and secure. I'm in control of the board. My opponent is not in. I'm not in danger of my opponent having like a big turn where he suddenly comes out swinging. That'll buy me the time I need to get it to 8 mana. That's steep cost. Now, at the other end of the spectrum, we got this one. We got the Wandering Minstrel, a legendary that only needs 2 mana. 2 different kinds of mana, but not bad. a 2-mana 1/3. That's okay. Now let's look at what it does. Lands you control enter untapped. Well, not going to apply to you much if you're mostly running basic lands, which you mostly are. Let's see. Out of the lands you opened, we got 3 that aren't basics, 3 that enter tapped. That one isn't even a color that this has. This has 1 color this has, and this is okay. So, out of this opening, we're not getting much use out of that. Let's look at the second ability. You have combat. If you control 5 or more towns, well, that definitely isn't happening because you opened at most 3 towns. So this is not looking good. If you open towns, create a 2/2 elemental creature token. It's nice. And then what do you have? Wooburg, 1 of each mana, and 3. So 8 mana. Other creatures you control get +X/+X. There's a lot of algebra in math, or in Magic, where X is the number of towns you control. This is an absolute build-around. This is going to do nothing in your 60-card deck. And to try and make that work is brutal.
Yep.
Let's see, we have a legendary human.
Yeah, the cost is not too bad, right? 4?
It's not too bad. It is 2 colors, which is trickier in 60-card, but not as bad as these ones. Whenever it enters or attacks, target creature you control gains double strike and lifelink until end of turn. It has this ability Partner, which is Commander exclusive. That doesn't apply here. They made a bunch of cards at the same time that had Partner, and the idea was normally in Commander you have 1 legendary commander. If you have 2 creatures with Partner, you can have 2 commanders. Target creature you control has double strike and lifelink. Those are some banger abilities.
Yep.
And for you to get that recurring whenever he attacks and immediately when he enters, this could be a really standout card. This could be a finisher, or just on its own, it could be good stable support for getting you back into the game. 4 mana, this is pretty good right now. This is getting me a lot of attention. This might go in a 60-card deck. And then we have the other mythic you open, Nibelheim Aflame. So we got a sorcery. It's 4 mana. Like I said, format is 60-card format. It's going to be a little bit faster. 4 mana is playable, but we better be getting our most out of this. Let's see. Choose target creature you control. So 1 of mine. It deals damage equal to its power to each other creature, including mine. If the spell is cast from a graveyard, discard your hand and draw 4 cards. So flashback will allow you to play certain cards from your graveyard once. You get them once and then they're gone. But it's nice to play a spell twice.
Yep.
This does cost 7 though, but we might want to try it because it's got a great ability. A card like this, which has variable effects for variable costs, is something you want to look at as like, which 2 times of the game can I play this?
Yep.
So let's assume you're playing 1 land a turn. On turn 4, this would be a pretty decent play. On turn maybe 2 or 3, almost assuredly you've got 1 or 2 creatures on board, and a low-key board wipe in a 60 card can be very useful. If you wait it out, maybe say like by turn 6, and you've got this 6/6. I'll pay 4, and then have this deal 6 damage to every other creature. That's probably demolishing my opponent's board. It's also demolishing my board. This is the risk-reward of something like this. But I can see this definitely being playable. The 7 mana, again, let's assume you're playing 1 land a turn. On turn 7. This better be winning you the game. Otherwise, this is probably sitting in my graveyard. This does greater in the Commander, where the games are slower, and you being that you've optimized your deck, you probably have a lot more opportunity to like speed up your mana base rather than 1 per turn. So this one kind of lies in between these 2 right now. Now, something that's worth pointing out: these reprints, they're from cards older than the Final Fantasy set, of course. They're from cards older than what is currently in Standard. So, though this is great and playable in a pre-release setting, because you don't just tell a player not to play cards they've opened when it's all they got. Yep. But this reprint being older than what's in Standard right now cannot go in a Standard deck. You couldn't roll up to a Standard event with this in your deck because it is older than what's allowed in Standard right now.
Yep.
Okay, we got this one as well. This is targeted removal. It has a requirement. Whenever this enters, choose 1. We could exile a couple cards from a graveyard. That's good, especially if your opponent is playing a deck that likes to revive stuff or has, like we saw earlier, flashback. We can also destroy target creature. I like it. I get to target it. Oh, that was dealt damage this turn. So I got a hoop to jump through. It's not much of a hoop, If I attack with like a measly 1/1, my opponent's like, I'll get that. That was damage. I can play this for 3 and still get it. And this is more than just a kill spell. I get a 3/2 attacker afterwards. That ain't bad. 2 is going to die to a lot of things, but the 3 will take a lot of things with it. So, like I said, hoop to jump through, but it's okay. We got some other things like Anima, the summon can make your opponents sacrifice something. Sacrifice something of their choice, lose 3 life. But the way that summons and sagas work is you have to go through that many turns before you get that. So this is a lot. I'm going to pay 6 mana. I'm going to get 4/4, which doesn't pass the vanilla test, but it's got Menace. Menace meaning can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, which can be brutal for the person on the other side of this. So this could be getting payoff for 6 mana, but you mean to tell me I'm going to wait another 4 turns before this will take out something of my opponent's? Not happening. Not in a timely fashion anyways. Let's see. We've also got things like this. These are kind of kill spells in that under certain circumstances they have Death Touch. Creature with Death Touch deals any amount of damage to another creature. Boom, it's dead. It could deal 1 damage to a 6/6 and it would still kill it.
Yep.
There's exceptions to that, of course, but this is a kind of removal. It does mean your opponent has to be foolish enough to take the damage or attack when you have that on board, and if they're smart about it, they probably won't if they got a creature they want to keep. But, like I said, that's also an option. Another form of taking things out is what we call hand disruption, like this one. When this enters, our opponent discards a card. These can be very powerful in the right situation. Ideally, you'd have one where you get to pick and choose. Look at an opponent's hand, choose a card, they get rid of that card.
Yep.
This is pretty weak, but it's also 2 mana for something that sticks around. A 1/1 can block a lot of things and save you from some damage. And, depending on when you play it, it can be... your mileage may vary. You play this on turn 2, your opponent's probably discarding a land or a creature that costs way too much. But if we're like a few more turns in, your opponent's been playing a lot of cards, they're probably down to just their primo cards in their hand, and making them discard 1 is going to hurt a lot. You absolutely could, yeah. And you've opened 2 here, that's twice as many opportunities to make your opponent discard 1. Having these in rapid succession can hurt them real fast.
Nice.
And then we got the big version of this, the Malboro. I forgot what it does. Yeah, when it enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life and exiles the top 3 cards of their library. That's pretty worth 6 mana. 6 mana for a 4/4, we make up for the 2/2 with this great ability. That's a bunch of different things. Taking them down 2 life. We're taking them down 10% of their life. They're discarding 1 card, and we're getting rid of the top 3 cards of their library. It's the next 3 turns they would have drawn. Could have been good. So, this is great. But again, not targeted. So, for like ideal removal, we tend to only have like 2. So, we should explore other options first.
Yep.
Most people put them like this, because removal, as we call it, is one of the most crucial. If you've got a deck that's got some banger creatures and a banger rare that is set to mow down your opponent, but it can't stick around because they're killing all your stuff, you don't have a strategy anymore. So let's see, the second most cards you had was from red. What have we got in here? Kind of something. Kind of something. A duplicate of that. Duplicate of that. Duplicate of that. Okay, we got some things here. In typical red fashion, you'd have to pay in addition to that to get the desired effect. So, for 1 and 0 extra, you have Thunder. Deals 2 damage to target creature. That'll take out anything with 2 toughness, or anything that has been hurt so much, 2 more damage will kill it. That's pretty good early game. It's also an instant. We love to see instants. Surprise kill spells are the best kill spells. Pay 1 and 3, you get the Thundera, deals 4 damage to target creature. That'll take out a bunch of stuff you will see in 60 cards. But if you gotta go big, we gotta get Thundera, deal 8 damage to target creature. This is a steep cost now. We got red, 5, 7 mana at instant speed. So you better be feeling desperate, but if it's nice to know that if you need it, it's there. With a card like this, how should I say? With a card like this, you want to think about when you'll most often be casting it, and that'll decide how you're going to rate it. If I'm thinking I'm mostly going to be doing this to hit for 2, then like I consider this an early game card. You know, I'll play it as soon as I got it. It's that useful to me. I'm not going to hold on to it. But if I'm thinking, I'm expecting to see a lot of 4 toughness creatures. You know, I saw my opponent's last game with them. Everything's best of 3. You know, I saw my opponent's last game. I saw some 4 drops. You know what? I think this will be good. So I'm thinking average 4 mana. It's an instant. It won't stick around after it's done. It's a powerful one-time effect. So you hold on to it until it's best for you. But yeah, so if I'm thinking like I'm mostly going to be dealing 4 damage something, I'm paying 1 and 3, paying 4 mana, I'm looking at this like in a mid-game thing. I will, whenever I draw this, I'll hold on to it. You know, or if I'm thinking like, well, I'm probably not thinking I'm going to average this for 7 mana, but it's nice to know it's there. You know, a spell that has this many options to it provides you that many more reasons to put it in.
Yep.
But that's definitely our only really good one here. This is a card that I think is best used in 60 card, but can have some use in Commander as well. It's good before you have the money to fill out some better cards, because like I said, Commander games can run long. By the time you got this 7 mana, game's still going on. You're probably still coming out swinging. Mm-hmm. But looking at the rest of our red cards, that's one of the only good ones we have for removal. We got the Blazing Bomb, which you opened 3 times. It's a 1/1 for 1, so pass the vanilla test. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so anything that is not a creature, an artifact, enchantment that's not a creature, instant or sorcery, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, put a +1/+1 counter on this. Okay, I got a creature that gets bigger. That's okay. You can also blow up. You can tap and sacrifice this, so this is a one-time effect. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature. The activate only as a sorcery is to keep it more balanced. If you could do this at any time, even on your opponent's turn, it'd be a bit too busted. So these can kill another creature, but you're going to have to make it bigger first. And casting something for 4 regularly is not... it's not going to happen too often in this format. This is a build-around. Like, if I were desperate, I'd put it in as a nice 1-drop. A 1-drop that, you know, on average would hit something for 1 is decent. It also could get bigger. That's decent for a 1-mana thing. 1-mana things, it's okay if they're kind of sucky. But if they've got some additional stuff, we call that upside. Yep. And that means it has potential to go bigger. So if you built around this, that would be great. Then we have this. This is not something that will kill an opponent's creature, but this is a control effect. It will take it away from their board, and that makes it better for you to attack. Even better, it puts it on your side with the ability to attack. So let's say you got a bunch of 1/1s and like a big like 10/10. I'm not attacking into that. That 10/10 is going to eat everything I got. Even a big old 6/6. 10/10 is going to kill that. But you know, if I gain control of it, then that's one thing you're not blocking with that turn, and since I get to attack with it, like, I will make the most out of that. I'm attacking you with this 10/10, you better believe it. But, much like the rest of red, this is short-term use. You can see it only lasts until end of turn, so you gotta wait till the time is right. So, like I said, black has emerged as a front runner in terms of good removal. Right now, red is suffering. We have like 1.5, 0.5. We have like maybe 2 units of proper kill. So that's challenging right now. Red's gonna have to make it up to us in other ways. Let's look at the other colors. Blue, while normally it's not going to get rid of the creature, but it'll make it so it can't attack or block. This does have a rider where if the creature's dealt damage, get rid of this. But up until that point, it's doing great for us.
1 mana?
1 mana, you love to see it. In a 60 card, this is great. It's cheap, it's efficient, and most of the time, it is going to do exactly what you need it to. Then, a variation on this, we have Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, which does the same sort of thing, but now it's 3 mana. We do have an improved version now that it has Flash, which means we could play this at instant speed if we liked, so that is huge. You know, that's another trick up our sleeve, waiting for our opponent to do just the right thing. Also makes it so it can't attack or block, and also its activated abilities can't be activated. That can be really good in this format. And then we do have a straight-up counterspell. This one is more of what we call like a mana sink. It's what you funnel a bunch of mana you've accumulated over time into. Because it'll counter something unless someone pays X. And you gotta pay X to put into this. So, let's say my opponent has 6 mana. And they're gonna cast something for 3. It's nasty. I don't want them to have this thing. So I'm gonna need so if I make them pay, let's say 3, then it would cost all their mana. They'd probably go for it. There's a 50-50 shot they're not gonna pay for it. If I ask them to do anything less, pay 1, they're gonna pay it. So I would need to have at least 4 in there to guarantee it is impossible for them to pay the cost. That's 4 plus 1, that's a 5 cost spell. So these ones, your mileage may vary a lot. But in sealed, when it is real luck of the draw, you happen to have it in a pinch.
So X means any number you apply, or
yeah, X is any number you put into it. When X is in the cost,
you could say something ridiculous.
Well, it's how much mana you dump into it. So you're going to still have to tap your lands. You're going to have to still use your mana rocks. You're going to still have to dump mana into that.
That makes sense.
But it is variable. So this is another one where like your mileage may vary. If you get this like early game, your opponent's only got like 2 or 3 mana, probably ain't gonna have to pay much in order to get him to do that. Late, but if it goes really late though, then your opponent probably has more than enough mana to pay the cost.
Yes.
This is one sort of thing that its efficacy like greatly decreases over time. So let's look at white. Outside of black, white is the next color that has some of the best removal in the game, but only if you've opened it. Let's see. We got a lot of white mage's staves.
So with the removal, that's the main thing we're looking for.
Removal is like such a game changer, and I don't mean the cards that are game changer. It's such a benefit to your strategy because especially like in constructed 4, but I think you're getting your value's worth out of this because at the very least it taps for white. That's good. Maybe you missed a land on turn 5 or something. You can still get your extra mana. This one, wonderful. We've seen this effect on other cards before, and they've always been top performers. Usually it's on a 3 mana card, but like I said, you get enough back for 4 mana. I'm kind of up on this card. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent, which is a lot of things, let me tell you. That counts for an opponent's creature, an opponent's enchantments, an opponent's artifacts as well. Like that'll give you a lot of versatility, and it stays there until this dies. Now, in formats where people have their decks more optimized, that's a bit of a shaky premise. But in 60 card, I'm a mile away, so your mileage may vary. But
Tifa.
Sometimes you totally catch them unawares. Perfect example, it's going to come up a lot. Let's say, perfect. Let's say you got this guy. Your opponent's got this guy and you've got this one. 5 easily beats a 2. And a 2 will not do anything to a 4. But I got a trick up my sleeve. The moment you think like, sure, I'll block this, no big deal. I play this, I give it a bonus, or I double or triple its power, and all of a sudden, like, your guy's donezo. So you can see, while not exactly a kill spell, I don't get something off the board. Green is also probably one of the best colors, like green and white, the best colors in the game for removing things that aren't creatures. For 3 mana, at instant speed, you have the versatility of 3 different choices. It's ready to target artifact, or enchantment, or creature with flying. That's an iconic thing. Green has historically struggled with flying creatures, so being able to take out flying creatures is kind of its thing. Obvious hints as to what sort of strategy you want to go in. A lot of people in a pinch will look at these and think like, oh yeah, red-white will do that, and I got the cards to support that sort of strategy. Let's take a look at this here. Shantoto. So red-blue. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, what sort of non-creature spells I got? I got a lot of non-creature spells, actually. Maybe I could do with this. But it's red and blue. Red and blue, which are not looking good for what they can supply me right now. So that was a great hint as to us strategy there, but I don't think it's good for me. What do we got here? We got a red-white double strike. Whenever it or another dwarf you controls, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may draw and discard a card. Well, I don't think we got much for dwarves. For equipment, we've got like, I think just these ones in white. So that's okay. White and red, like, I know white and red could be playable here, but we've kind of seen we're hurting for any good like kill spells and stuff. White would be definitely doing the heavy load there. I'm not feeling that. What is this one? Black-red, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, well, Black's got some non-creature spells, Red's got some non-creature spells, this is doable. Surveil 1, so like look at the card of your library, see if you want to put in your graveyard, and then an expensive cost to flip him over. We're probably not playing that, but, you know, if that's a strategy, red-black might be doable. Is it worth it just to run this card? Maybe. We got another red-white. Okay, we got 2 red-whites. If we went red-white, we could play these both. What does he do? Gain control of target creature and opposed until end of turn. That's kind of like this. Temporarily move something from an opponent's board.
That's right.
Gains lifelink and haste. 1, 1, and 6. I'll put it in the 8 pile.
Yep.
Or, if I'm thinking like +2/+2 is good enough, I'll put it with the 1s. Let's look at these. We opened 4 creatures with power 6 or greater. Fantastic. We love that.
Right.
Well, in these cards that you've opened, I'm shocked you didn't open anything more than 4. Is offering you some of the most endgame and strategic options. I think this deck ideally is black-green and like maybe you splash for white. Like what's good enough as a 1-of? Let's see. Like summon Primal Garuda is pretty nice. You know, the first step is to deal 4 damage to target tapped creature and opponent controls. That's pretty nice. And then second and third step makes one of your creatures flying. The flying is almost as good as unblockable in these games. The white Aura Sight I've maintained all along has better removal ability, but it needs 2 white.
Yep.
And if you're just sprinkling, if you're just splashing for white, you can't assume you're going to have that. Because, like, in a pre-release setting, we're actually not making 60-card decks. In Standard and Modern and all those other formats, the rules mandate you can't have anything smaller than 60-card. In a pre-release, in a sealed setting, and this, now, I am saying something that doesn't include draft, you can go as low as 40 cards. Which people prefer because, though you hate to have less cards, the consistency is much higher. You've got less muddying the waters. We got an advantage with this one of Green's most iconic effects. Its first step you get right away, go search for a land and get into play. That's pretty good. You could, between this and this, we've got ways to get the red mana we might possibly need for that.
Yes.
All right, that goes there.
Costly?
Yep. Cheapest.
Cheapest.
So by volume, our 1s, 2s, and 3s make up the bulk of the deck. That's great. We have a high proportion of 1s at the 6 and 7 roll. So definitely going to have to cut down a few of those. Now, remember when I talked about Crash Landing having usefulness with this cycle? Makes it so it's not always a dead card. Honorable mention to the Balan T-Rexar that has this, Forest Cycling.
Yep.
It won't let me draw a card, but it does say I can go get a forest. For 2 of anything, which is pretty useful. Let's say it's turn 3, and you only got 2 lands. You are in danger of not having 3 men on turn 3. That is going to be crushing. I got this card in my hand, I'm not going to be playing it for 6 anytime soon. I will happily pay 2, go get a land. I haven't played a land for this turn, play that land. That adds versatility to the card. So this is something that could both fit as a 2 or as a 6. Most of the time you'll be paying it 6 though, so we put it here. Now, I think for Thunder Magic, most of the time we're probably going to want the second step. Deal 4 damage to a target creature. So 1 plus 3, that's a 4. For Tifa's Limit Break, like, this could be for 1. Target creature gets +2/+2 can be very useful. But also, like, it's such a small step up to double There's a lot of risk and reward. It's an equipment, which means I could stick it to another creature. It's not a buff spell at instant speed, so I don't get it to be a surprise, but it sticks around. When it comes into play, it makes a 1/1, and then the equipment gives it +3/+0 and makes it a knight. So right away, for 3 mana, I get a 4/1. It's not bad. But if I want to pass it around, I got to pay 3 life. That adds up really quick. If I had some life gain or some life link, that wouldn't bother me so much. But on its own, this one I think is also on the outs for me. This is great. Forager, I think, is also fantastic. Armen, having flying and death touch, a deadly combination. You could block anything your opponent sent at you, and get a free kill once. He also has this additional ability: pay 3 and sacrifice another creature or artifact. Draw a card. That's so much versatility. Board can be accessed and swapped around with between matches.